Sorry it took so long to make this video. I was having a lot of trouble script-wise and I almost considered going completely scriptless. Anyways, you either click this video because 1. You know about the game, or 2. You don't know about the game and confused by what the title means. Now when I say fetish game, I'm not talking about anything crazy like water sports or hyper obesity or anything of the sort. Compared to a lot of things, the fetish content and change is pretty tame. All it really is just goo latex transformation stuff, which, yeah, on the surface doesn't sound very tame. But on the other hand, look at Venom from Spider-Man. It's not exactly the same kind of thing, but it's kind of the same kind of thing, just in different kind of context. Also, don't get my words twisted here. I'm not trying to say that Change secretly isn't a fetish game, because it very much is. I'm just saying there's more to it than others, and to treat it like it's exactly the same as such does it a slight disservice. Also, I'm only going to be talking about the game itself and how it impacted me personally. I'm not going to be talking about anything related to stuff around the game with the developers or anything like that, and I'm also not going to be talking about the community around it, because that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is for me to plead my case as to why I like the game. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't know if there's any huge controversies with the game in any sort of way, community-wise, developer-wise. I would have no idea, and I would have no idea where to search for that information. So if you're looking for something like that, I'm not the guy to talk to. Go somewhere else. The point of this video is for me to just say why I like the game. We good? We clear? Okay. Okay. Good. Anyway, something I want to quickly bring up before anything else goes on in this video is that most of my YouTube audience is adults, so let's just keep that in mind when I talk about things like kinks in this video. On the surface level, Change seems like just another run-of-the-mill fetish game, and I have no shame in admitting I've played my fair share of fetish games in the past. Let's all be adults about this, because let's face it, most of us are. I haven't played a whole lot, to be fair, but I have played it just enough to sort of pinpoint the tropes and cliches found within them, the ones that really make it a fetish game. Firstly, the fetish found within those games are usually the ultimate goal you want to achieve. They're the things that make the game progress, they're the things that you want to happen in the game. The story, if any, mostly takes a back seat in favor for the fetish, so you're mostly just playing for the featured fetish. There's not a whole lot of time or effort given into it compared to the whole point of the game. Change, however, is different. It has a story, it has an actual plot in the game, it has lore, it has stuff going on in it that makes it more of a standalone game. And the actual fetish within it is the stuff that makes the game come to a screeching halt. It's the stuff that you want to avoid in the game if you want to make it progress. It's the stuff that makes the game come to an over. If you want to keep playing the game, you have to avoid the fetish stuff. You have to avoid the Noid. Off topic, but who remembers when the Noid was in Crash Bandicoot? I'm not joking about that. The Noid from Pizza Hut was in the Crash Bandicoot game. So yeah, there's a far heavier focus on story as opposed to the fetish stuff in Changed. So that's not to say that there's still not effort put into the fetish stuff, but there's just more focus on the story as well. Firstly, the starting point for why this story happens is that there is a virus going around that kind of wiped out all of humanity. Very deadly, very contagious. There was probably also a quarantine that's never explained in the game, but it probably happened. And because there was this virus, scientists were trying to find a cure for it. And one of these attempted cures was making a goopy substance made from animal DNA that at first seemed more animal-like than human-like. But as the testing went on, it started to mimic more human-like attributes. And when in contact with a human, it would become instantly predatory, coating itself over the human and making it its host in a very parasitic-like way. There's actually two different ways they would go about doing this. One, they would absorb the host in with its own cells, making it kind of like a suit and wearer kind of situation. The other method being they would instead absorb the human, alter its cells to make it one of their own. And both of these methods was deemed by the scientists as transformations. And not only would it change the host's body, but it also changed their mind as well, making them just like all the other latex beasts. And there was actually two main types of latex beasts. The first of them being the black latex ones, which were substantially weaker, originating as crystals, and also have masks that are made from the same type of crystals, which acts as the foundation to their whole body. If the mask breaks or is removed, then the beast dies. Nothing else to it. Why do the masks keep them from falling apart? I have no idea, but they sure as hell look cool. And then there are the white latexes, which came after, and are substantially stronger. They don't have any crystalline mask, and instead of coming from crystals, they come from just regular milk puddles. Both of them are like mortal enemies, and have their own territories within the tower. All of the monsters are mindless creatures, incapable of comprehension of human speech in any way. They lurk around trying to find a host, otherwise succumb to an early death. And when I say two main types of latex beasts, what I mean is, there are others that don't really fall under either of the categories, such as the crow, the snip, snow leopard, and tiger shark, just to name a few. They are neither white latex nor black latex. I mean, the crow might be, but I don't know that, and I'm too lazy to check. But the point being, there are others, and you need to avoid all of them. And it's hard, but there is one latex beast who you don't avoid, one that you actually befriend, and who joins you on your journey, who, unlike all the rest, isn't predatory toward you, and can actually communicate with you. And if you've played the game, or have remotely heard anything about it, you know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. It's the crab meat from Sonic the Hedgehog! Puro. Puro is by far the most memorable and iconic part of the game, and for good reason. He was once just like all the rest of the monsters. He shows up like halfway through the game, and is the best part about it. He is one of only 3 main characters, and is like the whole saving grace of this game. I'm dead serious, if Puro was not in this game, I probably would not like it as much. Puro is a dark latex beast just like all the other ones, who, one day when he was hunting and patrolling for a host, stumbled across the library, and was so fascinated by all the funny squiggles in the books that he managed to learn human speech, reading it, and sounding them out and speaking it, and in doing so, gained the conscience as well, thoughts and feelings, making him stand out from all the other ones who do not. And one day, Puro found out about a human being stored in the tower, a test subject that was going to be used to find a cure to the virus. And upon finding that out, Puro went to hunt down the human, and to pounce on it the moment it woke up. But it was taking a little bit too long, he was starting to miss his books, so instead, he left a series of notes to lure the human to the library, where he would then pounce on it there. But that was still taking a long time, and he got to thinking about what would happen after. And then he realized, he's lonely. Really lonely. And so when the human eventually did arrive, he didn't attack. He just sat there and kept reading his book, his ridiculously large book. And when the human approached him, Half-Life 2, 15 hours, sister location, half an hour, 4 hours, 2 hours, Alpha 1, an hour, Team Fortress 2, 36 hours, Binding of Isaac, 128 hours, Portal, 869 hours, Deltarune, 91 hours, Amoris, 453 hours, Change Special, 53 hours, Portal 2, 1,663 hours, Change, 146 hours, and Alice Man's Returns, 153 hours. He didn't attack. Rather, he started chatting it up with the human, even so far as to tell him that do not approach him, otherwise there will be consequences, because his feelings of loneliness have subsided his natural instincts of survival. But not to the point where they're not still there, and he's still technically a danger. That, and the fact that you are not a 9 foot tall, muscular human. The very fact that you are a frail, weak little creature of a man is another big reason why he doesn't attack you, because it wouldn't be worth it. But, as the game goes on, one of 2 things will happen with Puro, and it all depends on how you treat him. 1, at a certain point in the game, he will join you, officially. He'll follow behind you, and he'll be like a official, unofficial party member, or he decides he will actually use you as a host. And there are a couple of ways to get these different results, but we're gonna get to there in a bit. I lied, we're gonna get to it now. In order for him to join you, all you need to do is show him love. Show him kindness, affection, and friendship. Give him a reason to actually want to be around you and not just use you. Become his friend. And by doing that, he joins you. He becomes your friend. And the other ending, well, you just don't show him love. You remain aloof. Ignore him, pay no mind to him, and eventually, he will use you as a host. I just recorded like a whole minute of recording a couple of minutes ago, and I didn't realize that this thing was turned off for some reason. Maybe it's low on battery, I don't know. What I do know is, I'm gonna first... And there's actually two different versions of when he tries to use you as a host. One, he'll just completely swallow you up whole and leave you with nothing. The second version, which is the harder version to get, is he will still use you as a host, but instead of swallowing you up whole, he will actually spit you back out as another changed creature. Now, to get the first version, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is either beat the game on easy mode, or show him completely zero love at all. Nothing just too hard about it at all, aside from the fact you have to beat the two bosses, these ones, and though they're horrible bosses. And the second version is you have to show him just right amount of love until he'll still change you. I can't really do justice with it with words, so instead I'll just show you my reaction to what I had to when I actually got this ending, because I was trying to do it for literal weeks to get that ending, and when I finally did, yeah, I had a reaction to it. Word of warning, it's loud. 3, 2, 1. I finally got this shitting ass ending! Why was it so hard? So this ending I'm talking about, as I just said, most likely, I'm recording this part before. So there's this ending, there's the second part of the ending of the betrayed ending, is that instead of Puro swallowing you up and keeping you inside his body, he transfers you, makes you one of him. And to get this ending is shittingly hard. You can't get it in easy mode. You have to show him enough love and attention in normal mode that but not enough to where he'll instead join you instead of want to take you over. It's a very fine line you have to traverse, but if you show him the right amount of love to where he'll still transfer you because his feelings of loneliness have not overtaken his thoughts and feelings of survival instincts. I don't know why I said it like that, but I'm running on pure adrenaline right now. I forgot where I was going. It's just a hard ending to get, and what makes it worse is that you have to beat a stupid boss fight against Tiger Shark and Squid Dog that I hate so much, because sometimes it's super easy, but sometimes it's exceedingly hard due to wonky hit detection. Anyway, I finally got it, and I screamed so hard when I did. It's supposed to be like a sad ending, but I'm just ecstatic I finally got it. Ugh, my god. That probably made a huge ass noise. And I finally fucking got it. Yeah! Yay! On. So back to the video. Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on with my mic at that point. Anyway, so while we're on the subject, let's continue talking about the endings of the game. There's 5 different endings of the game, 2 of which are actually, you have to work to get them at least a little bit. And the last 3, you just have to reach the end and hit different buttons. It's not test. None of the remaining 3 endings are add-on text and get on their own. So the other ending you're possibly gonna get is the experiment ending. Pretty much to get this ending, you have to make it to the point where Dr. K is introduced and kidnaps you. He'll trap you in the cell that you have to escape from with the help of a Roomba. It's pretty challenging, and if you take too long on it, then spoilers, obviously. I probably should have said it before, but spoilers for the endings. If you take too long on it and make it to where you got kidnapped in the first place, then Dr. K will be in the background standing up with Puro on the ground, dead. Yippee-ki-yay! You'll mourn the loss of him in a way that's really strange, because for the most part, whenever the game is referring to you, the character, it's always in third person, but for this part of the game, it's first person, like it's actually Colin talking, which just throws me through a loop. It would just be like if Frisk and Undertale started yapping along instead of Kara. But anyway, Dr. K will do what he always does, to go through a whole tirade of random things that nobody cares about. Just shut the hell up, no one cares. Right after Colin tries beating his ass, he reveals that Colin actually has the virus that wiped out humanity. Jesus Christ, look like a bacteria. And urges him to stay there so that he can treat him. Colin doesn't like this and grabs some hedge clippers that are nearby, which do fuck all, because Dr. K runs at him, and next thing you see, well, I'll let you be the judge. And the last 3 endings you get are the stay ending, the leave ending, and the can't decide ending. Again, all 3 of these on their own are not taxing to get individually, because all you have to do is either choose stay, leave, or escape at the end of the game. With the stay ending, you stay with Dr. K to try and figure out what's wrong with you, to get the virus out of your body somehow. And Puro, he's an eager beaver, he wants to leave you behind. To get out of the building, to see the world. In other words, he can't be fucked to stay with the guy he's been fighting for the whole time, the guy who changed him for the better for a few weeks longer in the building, so he just fucking leaves. I don't really like this ending. The leave ending, you leave with Puro. You keep walking down the ruins of humanity with him until you get too tired, you sit on a rock together, and you die. And Puro is none the wiser. However, the can't decide ending is what I assume is supposed to be the true, canonical, actual ending to the game. That is what really happens. And you just can't decide whether or not to stay or leave. And Dr. K suggests something that might help. And you stay at first. And this time Puro doesn't leave your side. Why was it an issue in the stay ending then? And you have a dream that you're running from the different beasts of the game, and then you wake up to this, which is what I want to wake up to, and then next thing you see is this, and then after that it's pretty much the leave ending again, but instead of you dying, you just be like, yes, I am happy, Puro. It's definitely like the best ending in the game, but it does have issues with it that raise a whole lot of questions I don't want to say out loud right now to not waste time, so instead I'll write them out here. But it is still the best ending to get in the game. It's hidden. The options to get to different endings at the end of the game only show stay and leave. The actual can't decide ending is hidden behind the escape key. But anyway, yeah, those are the endings of the game. I can only assume that when Change Special finally releases, that there will be more endings to the game. Maybe they'll fix the problems with the can't decide ending, or maybe even the stay ending, because they already changed the story a whole bunch, definitely for the better. They introduced Dr. K, I can't remember if I said this or not, but they introduced Dr. K right at the start of the game, instead of more than halfway through the game. So he's he's the actual antagonist for most of the game. It's gonna be a good game, I just know it. But there's, again, there's only one last thing I want to talk about in this game, and that is the difficulty. This game, again, I can't remember if I said this or not, because it's been an actual month since I started recording this. It's taken me a long time to make this video, and I apologize immensely for that. But this game, it advertises itself as a survival horror, when in reality it's more of a rage game. a rage puzzle game to be exact, with loads of puzzles and chase sequences that'll make you want to rip your hair out. Like the first chase sequence with the cat. That's a perfect introduction for how bullshit this game is going to be. And then there's not many actual boss fights of the game. I think, memory serves me right, there's only 3, and they're all very hard. I think the worst one is actually Squid Dog and Tiger Shark. That one is an actual bitch to complete, and I hate it so much. You literally have to like aim the different tentacles at them, but oh my god. I'm not good at explaining things with words. I'm better at explaining things with text, so give this a read. And then there's this point at the end of the game where you have to walk along different red crystals, which are different from the regular crystals of the game, which change you instantly. These ones you can walk on for a second before they spring up out of the ground after you leave it. And you either gotta run really fast towards the end of it before they touch you, or you just walk, I guess, which is the easier way to do it, but it's still very hard to do. And it makes you really, really hate the fact there's no instant respawn, or the fact you can't skip the different death cutscenes, because they I counted the length between you getting hit and being able to restart again is like 10 whole seconds each time, which on the jump doesn't sound like a whole lot of time, but when each restart is like 7 seconds, it builds up fast. The point being, it's a very difficult game that will test your patience on more levels than 1, and don't go into this game thinking it's gonna be like a regular survival horror. Go into it thinking it's gonna be more like Cat Mario. Remember Cat Mario? I do. Again, I do still love the game, not for the reason everyone's probably thinking, just because of Puro, the different, the relationship they have with human Colin. It's a very sweet ending that doesn't come off as kinky or anything like the rest of the game will probably have you think. It comes off more like a star-crossed friendship between predator and prey, and I dig that. And even though the game is like a fetish game, yada yada, it is a fetish game. I'm not trying to deny that at all. At all. It is a fetish game. Do not get my words twisted here. It is, but it has more nuance to it. It has more to it that make it more of a game that you can just enjoy without all the fetish stuff, and just enjoy it for what the other stuff in it. And I do mean it when I say that these endings, despite me being very negative sounding towards a lot of them, all of them in some way make me emotional. Like, they bring out more emotion in me than any movie, any other game I've played or watched, anything. And I really, really do mean that. I said I don't like the stay ending because of how poorly it's written, but this final screenshot, it gets me. And this screenshot and this part in the leave ending, it breaks me up inside. And they wouldn't have done that to me if this relationship between Colin and Puro wasn't at least written well. That's all I gotta say, really. I hope you enjoyed this video despite it taking so long to make, and all these different camera shots changes, all these different outfit changes, because I keep recording on different days of the month. Yeah, also, one more thing I should mention. I now have a Patreon! There's 4 different tiers of it, but you should only really pay mine to 3 of them. Don't question what the 4th tier is. It's none of your concern. So, there's free. The first tier is bronze. It's $1 a month, and basically for it, you get to see 10 different clips of each new video I post before the video is uploaded. Second one is silver, which is $5 a month, which basically you get both the clips and also some scenes, 5 different scenes out of context from each new video. And the last one is Gold, which is $10 a month, and you get all the benefits from the last tiers, but you also get the entire video unedited before the video is uploaded. And if you're watching this on Patreon, because I'm posting this to Patreon, I don't know about the clips yet. Well, we'll see when we see. Then, when the video comes up on YouTube, if you're watching this on Patreon, go in the comments and just say, "Please, der Mr." I hope you enjoyed the video. Follow my Twitter, and I'll see you all in the next video, whatever it may be. Probably the Pokemon ones again.